Hello students, welcome to Notebook. Do you know that Hinduism is known as the oldest religion in the world? It developed thousands of years before Christianity and other world religions. It is currently the third largest religion in the world after Christianity and Islam. It is known as the Sanatana Dharma or eternal religion. The religion of Hinduism is recorded in texts called the Upanishads. Unlike Buddhism, Christianity or Islam, the lessons in the Upanishads are not the philosophy of a chief teacher or preacher. The Upanishads contain the words of many spiritual men and women of the Indian subcontinent. The word Upanishads means approaching and sitting near. The Upanishads contain recorded conversations or dialogues between teachers and students. Most of the Upanishadic thinkers were upper caste men, the Brahmins and the Rajas. However, there were a few women thinkers like Gargi, who was famous for her learning and her skills of debating at the royal court. The Upanishads also tell us about Satyakama Jabala, the son of a slave. A Brahmin teacher named Gautama accepted Satyakama as his student when he saw that he was deeply interested in learning about reality. Satyakama Jabala became one of the best known teachers of his time. The Upanishads tell us about the individual soul or Atma, which outlasts the human body. The Atma is permanent and even death cannot destroy it. The universal soul is known as the Brahman in the Upanishads. Upanishadic thinkers believed that eventually the Atma and the Brahman unites and becomes one. Indian philosophical traditions search for truth and explore truth. The 6 systems of Indian philosophy which have developed over the centuries are Vaishashika, Nyaya, Samkhya Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Vedanta, and Uttara Mimamsa. These systems were founded by the sages Konada, Gautama, Kapila, Patanjali, Jamini, and Vaisya. We all now talk about the life and philosophy of Gautama Buddha, who founded the religion of Buddhism. Gautam Buddha was born as Siddhartha Gautam to a noble family of Kshatriyas in 563 BCE. His father was King Sudhodana, the leader of the Sakya clan, and his mother was Queen Maya Devi. He left the comforts of his life in the palace and became a sage or ascetic in his search for truth. He attained or reached enlightenment after meditating for many days under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. After this, he came to be known as Buddha or the Wise One. He taught his philosophical and religious lessons for the first time at Sarnath, near Varanasi. He spent the rest of his life traveling to many places and teaching people his philosophies. Buddha's religion became popular among the people because he taught in the local language, Prakrit. He said that human life on earth is full of sorrows and sufferings. We suffer because of tanha or thirst for more worldly happiness or material objects. Buddha taught his disciples moderation or the ways of leading a controlled and disciplined life. He also taught them to be kind and respectful towards others. He believed that we get the results of our actions or karma in this lifetime or in the next lifetime. Around this time, other scholars were also working besides the religious scholars. Panini was one such scholar who prepared a grammar for Sanskrit. Vardhamana Mahavira also taught his philosophy of Jainism in Prakrit, or the language of the common people, 2500 years ago. He was the last and 24th Tirthankara of the Jainas, was a Kshatriya prince of the Lichavis, a group of the Vajji Sangha. Followers of Mahavira had to live a simple and honest life. They had to renounce or give up all earthly possessions, including their clothes and their homes. They had to strictly follow the rules of ahimsa, or non-violence, which means that they could not hurt other human beings and animals. These rules were hard to follow, but thousands of men and women left their homes and took up this new way of life. It was easier for traders to become Jainas than farmers who had to kill insects to protect their crops. The farmers hence could not entirely follow the doctrine of ahimsa. Mahavira's message spread to many places in North India, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. His teachings were written down at a place called Vallabhi in Gujarat about 1500 years ago. Where did the Buddhists and the Jainas who left home live? They lived in associations called Sangha. The rules of the Buddhist Sangha were written down in the book called the Vinaya Pataka. There were different branches for men and women in these Sanghas. The men and women living in the Sanghas led simple lives. They meditated most of the time and went to the villages and cities and fixed times to beg for food. They were known as bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. They taught others, helped one another, and had discussions with each other in the Sangha. The members of the Sangha came from all backgrounds and communities. They were Brahmins, Kshatriyas, slaves, traders, merchants, and laborers. They wrote down the teachings of Buddha and composed beautiful poems about their life in the Sangha. Upper caste men could join the Sanghas freely. Slaves and men who worked for the king had to take the permission of their masters in order to join the Sangha. Women had to take their husband's permission to join the Sangha. Thus we see that the society was free for some people, but not so free for others. The Buddhist monks and the Jainas traveled most of the time. During the rainy season, they lived in caves or in temporary shelters in gardens. Their supporters built these shelters for them. Eventually, monks and nuns began to stay in monasteries called viharas. The first viharas were made of wood, and then brick viharas were constructed. Rich merchants and kings donated lands for viharas. The local people brought clothes, medicines, and gifts for the monks and nuns, men and women living in the viharas. The monks and nuns taught the common people. Around this time, the Hindu Brahmins developed the system of ashramas, which mean a stage of life. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa are the four systems of ashramas. Brahmacharya is the stage of the student. Grihastha is the stage of the householder who works for his family. Vanaprastha is the stage of retired, and the Sannyasa is the stage of the renouncer or the sannyasi. According to the system of ashramas, the life of a human being was divided into these 4 stages. Do you think that our lives have similar stages today? Think about it and note down your observations. See you soon in our other videos. Till then, keep learning.